Hello, I'm Jim Rohn and welcome to today's video. Have you ever wondered what's going on in your ex's mind when they suddenly go silent, avoiding you as if you were a ghost from the past? Are you stuck in an emotional whirlwind, wondering if they regret it, if they realize they've lost the best thing in their life? Trust me, you're not alone. Millions of people out there are also struggling with the question, why did they do that? And what happens when they finally wake up? In this video, I'm going to take you deep into the psychology behind your ex's avoidant behavior, the chaotic emotions, the thoughts they never speak out loud, and the pivotal moment when they realize, oh no, I made a huge mistake. You'll discover what makes them change, what makes them turn around and look back, and most importantly, how you can use this truth to reclaim your power in your own story. This is not just psychological analysis, but a key for you to better understand yourself and what you truly deserve. But don't just stop at listening to me. Let's uncover it step by step, secret by secret. If you don't want to miss any tips on how to move past relationship drama and take control of your life, hit that subscribe button now. And don't forget to turn on the notification bell, because every video I bring is a piece of the puzzle to help you become stronger. So, are you ready? Let's dive in. When your avoidant ex realizes they've made a mistake, when your avoidant ex starts to realize their mistake, a series of interesting things can happen. First, they will fall into a dramatic inner conflict. The thing is, they don't want to admit they were wrong in the first place. Accepting this would mean facing the truth that all along, they've been weaving a narrative to justify their behavior, that everything was fine, that they had no issues, and that it was all someone else's fault, not theirs. But the truth is always harsh. When they're forced to look it in the eye, they start to feel restless, uneasy. All this time they've been convinced that their way of handling things, avoiding emotions, keeping distance, was totally reasonable. But now that belief begins to crumble, and they can no longer control their own feelings. The funny thing is, everyone else can see clearly that they've made a mess of things, but they themselves are still blind to it, unwilling to admit it. So, they enter a phase of intense push and pull. On one side is the part of them that's slowly waking up, realizing that their avoidant style has driven you away and needlessly destroyed the relationship. On the other side, they still cling to their stubborn ego, trying to justify that avoidance is just their way of life, that there's no need to change at all. This inner battle doesn't just exhaust them, it exposes the truth. They've locked themselves in a vicious cycle, wanting to keep you close but unable to overcome their own self. This creates a kind of inner drama where they are the only lead actor, while you've already moved on to a new chapter in life. Usually the avoidant part of them tries to win out, especially in the long run, and this leads to some rather interesting developments. Secondly, they begin subtle efforts to draw you back in. This is their tactic to cope with the emotional mess inside. They'll drop little signals, a random message, a casual question like bait to see if you'll bite. To them, if you respond, it feels like a win. You're still within reach, still waiting for them in some way. This gives them relief, making them feel like there's no need to fight with themselves anymore. They tell themselves everything is fine and they can comfortably continue their avoidant ways without changing a thing. They might even put on a show, pretending they've transformed, just to make you believe they've changed. But don't celebrate too soon. This is usually just a test. They want to see where you stand in the relationship without actually dealing with the core problem. In their mind, everything can go back to normal without digging deep or fixing anything. They just want to keep you in a familiar loop, pretend change, get you to open up, then once they feel comfortable, they pull back again, pushing you away if you accidentally trigger their pressure or vulnerability. This cycle repeats like a never-ending dance. To put it bluntly, this is how they test the waters, to see whether they really need to seriously face themselves, or if they can just let everything slide and you'll accept them as they are. For them, maintaining the status quo is always easier than changing, and they'll do everything to preserve it, even at the cost of repeating old wounds. The third thing you might notice is that the fear of rejection clings to them like a shadow. When they realize they were wrong, they don't dare to admit it. not out of pride, but because they're afraid of how you'll react. They can't predict what you'll say or do, and that terrifies them. For them, control is everything, controlling themselves, their emotions, and even how others perceive them. If you respond with coldness or anger, it strikes directly at their weak spot, bringing up emotions they don't know how to deal with, and frankly, they don't want to face any of it. So instead of sitting down for an honest conversation, admitting their mistakes and finding a way to fix things, they choose the easier route, silence and constructing a world in their own mind. In that world, they don't have to face you, apologize, or explain anything. They imagine the scenario they want, then cling to it like a lifeline. They'd rather live in the illusion they created than step out and risk being rejected by you. But that shell won't last forever. Gradually, the feeling of being wrong resurfaces, knocking on their mind incessantly, forcing them to confront the truth they've been trying to deny. And then this leads them to the next step. Number 4. Choose to reunite or continue to run. This is the turning point where they have to bet it all. The avoidant individual stands at a crossroads. Either they will go all out to convince you, doing everything to make you believe they've changed, or they'll retreat into their familiar shell, avoiding you once more. Whatever they choose, this is the moment everything becomes clear. They can't keep running from themselves or from you forever. Perhaps deep down inside, a small part of them genuinely longs to start over. If they're serious, you'll gradually notice it through concrete actions over time. Sincerity can't be faked forever. But don't get your hopes up too high, because more often than not, what you'll witness is a familiar script. Their avoidant instinct flares up strongly, and they choose to pull away. At that point, they tell themselves everything is fine, that there's no need to face this emotional mess. They return to their safe corner, where they don't have to change or struggle. In their mind, they've built a solid castle, where they convince themselves that this avoidant lifestyle is completely normal, that nothing is wrong with them, and that changing themselves is unnecessary. That fortress was built over the years, each brick laid by the justifications they told themselves, so breaking it down is no easy task. Therefore, instead of bravely stepping out and confronting the issue, something that requires a lot of time and effort, they usually choose to stay the same. They'd rather cling to the false sense of comfort than risk breaking through that shell. Only when time passes and the internal pressure becomes too great might they slowly begin to change, but don't expect it to happen quickly. For them, change is a long and exhausting battle, and they rarely pick up the sword to fight right away. The 5th stage is when everything becomes crystal clear. Either they will grow or they will drag you back into the same old cycle. Don't get it wrong, not every avoidant person stays stuck forever. Some truly can mature, recognize their mistakes, and commit to change. They might sit down with you, face the issues head on, even seek help from a therapist. If things go the right way, the two of you could rebuild a happy relationship where both feel safe and understood. But unfortunately, the more common scenario is far less beautiful. Most of the time, the avoidant person will make you believe they're progressing. They might appear to be trying, give sweet promises, even act as if they're doing everything they can to save the relationship. You begin to relax, open up, share your feelings, or try to resolve the leftover issues to heal together. And then, just when you think everything is going well, the avoidant beast within them rises again. They begin to retreat, keep their distance, repeating the same familiar steps, pushing you away the moment emotions get too real, or when you accidentally touch their vulnerability. The cycle spins again. They pull you close, then push you away, like a dance that never ends. You think they've changed, but it turns out it was just a short performance before everything resets. This worn-out story repeats itself, and you realize you're watching a long-running series with an ending that never changes. This is often the journey most people go through when dealing with an avoidant ex, and it leads you to an important lesson I want you to take to heart. Be honest with yourself. You need to ask yourself whether you truly want to keep walking down this drama-filled path. Deep inside you, there's a small voice that already knows the answer. Whether you've been ignoring it or have known it all along, listen to it. Maybe you've spent tons of time, energy, and emotion trying to open their eyes, to show them that an avoidant way of living is destroying any chance of building a healthy relationship. You're not asking them to change overnight. You understand that it takes time, but at the very least, you hope they'd show you a bit of effort, a sign that they're willing to step through that invisible wall. But the truth is, they might not do anything at all. Maybe they've convinced themselves that this is the only way of life that works for them, and you might even feel a little pity thinking about that. Because, if you look deeper, this avoidance style often stems from childhood, when their caregivers failed to meet their emotional needs, forcing them to build a shell to protect themselves, to feel okay in a world lacking warmth. Understanding this, you might feel some empathy. But empathy doesn't mean you have to keep sacrificing yourself waiting for a change that may never come. Ask yourself, what do you deserve? And is this cycle really where you want to anchor your heart forever? The answer lies in your hands, and only yours. Even though the roots of avoidance might earn your sympathy, the truth is that if they want to maintain a relationship with you or with anyone, they must step across that boundary themselves. Love, connection, and vulnerability are essential parts of a relationship. They may vary in degree, but they cannot be entirely eliminated. To them, these things feel like painful memories they just want to escape from, because the past taught them that opening up is dangerous. But to move forward, they need to find a way to tear down that wall on their own. No one, not even you, can do it for them. You've done your best, guided, encouraged, even showed them the way. But now, the responsibility is theirs. They must genuinely want to change, because this journey is not easy. It requires them to face the darkest corners of their soul, things they may have buried their entire life. Only when they bravely dig them up and start fixing each broken piece can they open the door to a healthy relationship with you. But that timing, if it ever comes, is entirely up to them. They might be ready, but it may not be now and not within the time frame you're hoping for. So pause for a moment and look within yourself. What is truly good for you? Perhaps, instead of waiting for an uncertain change, you should focus on healing your own heart. Don't let your happiness hang on someone else's decision. You deserve a path of your own, where you can find peace and move forward, whether they catch up or not. Their journey is theirs, and you choose a new beginning for yourself. So we've explored the 5 dramatic stages when your avoidant ex realizes their mistake. From the inner turmoil, the half-hearted attempts to pull you back, the fear of rejection, to the decisive crossroads between change or continued escape, all of it paints a clear picture of how they face or avoid facing themselves. What's the most important takeaway from this journey? That you cannot change them, no matter how hard you try. They must walk through that avoidant wall themselves, while you need to listen to your own heart to decide what's best for you. Maybe you've spent a lot of time and energy waiting, but sometimes letting go and healing yourself is the right path. I hope this video not only helps you understand the avoidant style more clearly, but also gives you a new perspective to love and value yourself. Life is a series of choices, and you deserve relationships that bring real happiness, not repeated cycles of hurt. Remember, whether they change or not, you always have the right to choose how you move forward on your own journey. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. Your support is a big motivation for me to continue bringing meaningful content. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you won't miss the next videos. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Leave a comment below and share your feelings, your story, or anything you want to say. Every opinion you share is valuable and helps us build a connected and understanding community together. See you in the next videos, wishing you strength and joy every single day.